I gifted them for picks. Some warm, some didn't, but I was like, okay, this is my little appreciation gift to them.
That was Shedeur Sanders nonchalantly showing off that his limited edition Nike cleats sold out instantly, and the buzz wasn't fake. Nike is reportedly preparing a record-shattering extension that could turn him into the highest-earning rookie endorser of all time. Yet, even though his jersey sales are skyrocketing, plenty of players in the league are far from thrilled. Let's get into it. The unbelievable sales explosion. Confidential reports reveal that Nike is aggressively working on a massive contract upgrade with Shedeur Sanders, driven by rookie jersey sales so unprecedented they've left the NFL world in shock. The sportswear titan is said to be so stunned by the profits from their fifth-round quarterback gamble that they're ready to draft a deal capable of changing endorsement economics forever. But here's the detail that makes this development so wild. After Sanders' preseason debut against the Carolina Panthers, something remarkable shook the entire National Football League. The jersey sales that rolled and were jaw-dropping. $250 million worth of rookie jerseys sold, making Sanders a top-selling rookie jersey since his father, Deion "Primetime" Sanders, reigned over the league decades ago.
$250 million in rookie jersey sales for Shedeur Sanders, which means he's going to commission $14 million. He only made $4.6 million from his rookie contract. So he's already made more than most second, third.
To really understand just how massive these numbers are, remember this. Most rookies barely sell a fraction of this in an entire season. Sanders managed to smash that total within weeks of his first appearance, shattering every old assumption about rookie popularity and fan spending in the NFL.
For anybody out there that feels like they've been done wrong, you are always going to end up on the right side if you are a good person. Shedeur has been doing nothing, keeping quiet, working, minding his business, driving the speed limit hopefully, and doing everything he needs to do to prepare for this upcoming.
Here's where the story turns jaw-dropping. Sanders isn't cashing in solely through standard rookie contract terms. Thanks to a groundbreaking clause buried in his agreement called a Prime Equity Clause, Sanders earns a slice of all merchandise sponsorship and promotional revenue tied to his name and image. Meaning from those $4 billion jersey sales alone, he's projected to personally rake in around $14 million. Over triple his full four-year rookie contract base salary of $4.6 million.
This clause gives Sanders a percentage of revenue generated from merchandise sponsorships and promotions linked to his name and likeness. That's what they said. It wasn't that his character was stupid. It was trying
He's too smart.
Yeah, that's why he got picked so far back, because apparently his agents wanted this.
The financial foresight shown by Sanders and his team signals a seismic shift in how new athletes handle their careers. While most rookies concentrate only on surviving the roster and proving themselves on the field, Sanders entered the NFL armed with a business blueprint that frames his athletic journey as just one piece of a much larger lifestyle and entertainment empire. Let that sink in. While the average fifth-round pick is grinding just to keep a roster spot or earn a second contract, Sanders has already eclipsed countless higher draft picks financially before even playing a single regular season snap. This isn't just football anymore. This is about rewriting the economic future for rookie athletes. The collaboration between Sanders and Nike goes way beyond a standard endorsement. Their bond began in August 2024, when Sanders became Nike's very first near-football athlete. A groundbreaking moment where the swoosh took a bold bet on a college star. The timing was flawless. Sanders was fresh off a record-setting run at Colorado, posting school-best stats in single-season passing yards for 1,134 and touchdowns 37 in 2024. But Nike's gamble was about far more than just college numbers. They weren't just betting on raw performance. They recognized something much deeper, a generational force carrying the legacy of one of the most marketable names in sports history. The deal intentionally mirrored his father, Deion Sanders' legendary 1990s partnership with Nike, which gave the world the iconic Air Diamond Turf DT sneakers, famous for their crossover dominance in both football and baseball. What makes this even more striking is how Nike carefully positioned Shedeur Sanders during the entire draft saga. Even though he was projected as a top quarterback pick, Sanders fell to the fifth round, 144th overall, to the Cleveland Browns, a drop many linked to his unusual contract stipulations. Yet, Nike's belief never wavered. In April 2025, just before the draft, Nike went all in, ending months of silence by rolling out an aggressive campaign centered solely around Sanders. Their social feeds were flooded with images of him in exclusive gear, including custom Nike Air DT Maxim 96 sneakers and Vapor Edge 360 DT cleats, paired with captions like "Nothing left to do," "See 4.24" and "Poetry in motion." The brilliance of Nike's strategy becomes crystal clear when you see the figures. Sanders' nil valuation hit $6.5 million in college, making him the most valuable athlete on On3's rankings. That valuation came from high-profile deals with Gatorade, Beats by Dre, and Mercedes-Benz. But Nike stood tall as his anchor sponsor. The wave of jersey sales wasn't some random fluke. It was a payoff of months of precise marketing, authentic storytelling, and, above all, on-field performance that backed up the hype. When Sanders stepped into his preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers, he delivered exactly what Nike had banked on, going 14-23 for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, displaying the same poise and accuracy that made him a collegiate star. Within hours, Nike Football blasted out an ad on X with a caption, "Only a matter of time," showing Sanders' trademark watch celebration. The post pulled in over 196,000 likes and thousands of reposts. The kind of viral moment you can't fabricate with money, only create through authentic play. But here's the real shocker. It isn't just the sales numbers that stand out. It's the precedent they set for the future of professional sports. That prime equity clause in Sanders' contract gives him control over personal content across Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, plus exclusive media rights for behind-the-scenes footage. It's a framework that could forever change how athletes structure their worth in the industry.
Prime equity. This clause gives Sanders a percentage of revenue generated from merchandise sponsorships and promotions linked to his name and likeness. If he becomes like a superstar, he could be the richest NFL player.
The NFL has simply never witnessed anything like this. Standard rookie contracts are built with rigid rules to ensure competitive balance and keep control in the hands of ownership. But Sanders has cracked the system wide open, positioning himself as a business partner instead of just another employee. The ripple effects are massive. If future rookies begin pushing for similar terms, the entire financial structure of the league could be rewritten. And at the center of it all stands a Nike marketing juggernaut whose bold, innovative strategy with Shedeur Sanders isn't just an endorsement deal. It's a blueprint for the future, leaving the sports marketing world scrambling to figure out how a fifth-round rookie achieved results most superstars can only dream of. Nike's approach with Shedeur Sanders marks a major shift in athlete endorsements, especially in the nil era, where college stars now transition directly into global professional icons. The brand engineered a layered campaign combining digital speed, innovative product drops, and compelling narrative building to elevate Sanders' image far beyond what traditional marketing could deliver. The roots of this groundbreaking partnership go back to when Sanders announced his nil deal through a joint Instagram post with Nike, signaling their commitment to exclusive apparel and footwear collaborations. The move was a deliberate callback to his father, Deion Sanders' legendary relationship with Nike, which gave fans the iconic Nike Air DT Max 96 sneakers, later reimagined in modern colorways worn by Shedeur during high-profile showcases like Pro Days. That nostalgic link added authenticity, bridging younger fans discovering Nike today with longtime sneakerheads who remember the original primetime era. Nike's boldest stroke came during their pre-draft campaign. Unlike other brands that hold back until draft placement is confirmed, Nike doubled down early. Their feeds overflowed with custom content, including all-gray Nike Air DT Max 96 sneakers and Vapor Edge 360 DT cleats, matched with motivational captions hyping his transition to the pros. Their dedication became even clearer through product development. Nike created special edition Air DT Max 96s and Vapor Edge 360 cleats personalized with Sanders' S2 logo, a square $ symbol tied to his jersey number 2, reinforcing his business-minded brand identity. The real-time marketing muscle Nike showed after Sanders' NFL preseason debut reset the standard for responsiveness in sports branding. On August 9, 2025, he went 14 of 23 for 138 yards and 1 touchdown. Within hours, Nike Football pushed out a sleek campaign ad captioned, Only a matter of time, spotlighting Sanders in Brown's gear. The ad exploded, drawing over 11 million impressions in less than 24 hours, quadrupling Nike's typical engagement rates. This wasn't just advertising. This was cultural moment-making in real time. Nike's merchandising rollout for Sanders might be the most comprehensive rookie strategy ever executed. Their jersey line included official Cleveland Browns Shedeur Sanders 2025 draft jerseys, available in men's, women's, and youth cuts, priced between $130 and $175. These weren't generic replicas. They boasted breathable mesh, authentic NFL shields, and performance-driven tailoring that blended style with utility. The apparel line expanded to branded graphic tees priced at $30 to $50, designed to reach younger fans without sacrificing Nike's premium feel. Distribution was broad, through Dick's Sporting Goods, eBay, and Rally House, ensuring saturation at every retail level. The footwear strategy became the crown jewel. Limited drops of Air DT Max 90XS, custom Pro Day versions, and Vapor Edge 360 DT cleats hit shelves between $150 and $200. Beyond performance, these sneakers function as collectibles, linking Sanders' rise with his father's legacy while crafting his own style identity. And the social media buzz surrounding these drops amplified the hype far beyond Nike's own channels. Influencers and insiders like Jordan Schultz pushed the ads, while Soul Retriever highlighted the massive Times Square billboard rollout. That campaign, a giant display of Sanders' signature watch celebration in the heart of New York, cemented Nike's message. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie. He's a cultural icon, worthy of the biggest advertising stage in the world. Nike's lightning-fast advertising response to Shedeur Sanders' preseason debut pulled in over 196,000 likes and thousands of reposts on a single upload. The kind of viral surge every brand dreams about. Engagement was through the roof, with replies ranging from supported jabs like "try to humble him" and created a monster, to skeptical takes questioning Nike's marketing playbook. But the real innovation in Nike's approach isn't just a short-term hype. It's their long-range vision of Sanders as more than just an athlete wearing a swoosh. Reports confirm Sanders secured a cut of merchandise royalties in both his nil and rookie agreements, a bold negotiating move that rattled the NFL and perfectly aligned with Nike's focus on athlete partnerships that evolve far beyond basic endorsement models. This structure has flipped the script. Instead of simply paying him to showcase their gear, Nike built a system where Sanders' personal success and Nike's bottom line rise together. Hints about potential signature sneakers, names like LL2C and Proto 92Ts for 2025, suggest this collaboration is only the beginning of something far larger. Internationally, Nike has elevated Sanders into a global symbol of excellence and entrepreneurship, pushing campaigns that resonate even with audiences unfamiliar with American football. The story of resilience, ambition, and innovation is universal. Behind the scenes, Nike's analytics team fuels this campaign with cutting-edge precision, monitoring engagement stats, conversion rates, and sentiment analysis across platforms. That data lets them adjust messaging and product drops in real time based on consumer reactions. The challenge now is sustaining authenticity while balancing the sky-high expectations they created. Critics warn the marketing machine may be sprinting ahead of Sanders' on-field resume, but the jersey sales prove fans are buying the story regardless of traditional performance markers. The ripple effects are already shaking the industry. Competitors are scrambling to find their own version of Sanders, athletes who blend elite skill with business savvy and cultural relevance. This scramble has inflated nil deal values and sparked complex contract structures that blur the line between sponsorship and equity partnerships. Nike's bet on Sanders underscores a bigger movement, empowering athletes and creating shared value rather than extracting it. Today's fans are sharp. They crave authenticity and gravitate toward brands that genuinely back their players. But not all the headlines are glowing. Alongside the record-breaking jersey sales and preseason buzz, clouds of controversy are forming that could overshadow Sanders' ascent. Ironically, the same factors that made him a marketing juggernaut are now fueling criticism that threatens his NFL future before it fully begins. The whispers began during the draft process. Anonymous NFL executives painted a harsh picture of Sanders' character, branding him entitled, blasting his horrible body language, and accusing him of shifting blame onto teammates. These weren't isolated comments. They looked like part of a coordinated smear meant to tank his draft value, going far beyond routine pre-draft nitpicking. The resistance became clearer when you analyze the exact critiques. Executives complained about his look-at-me behavior, citing moments where he flaunted a diamond-encrusted watch mid-game while promoting his too legendary brand. One insider even argued he needed distance from his father to learn humility, exposing how deeply family ties were framed as liabilities rather than strengths.
Shouldn't be, but it will be. Because I think that there's a lot of people that's looking for an excuse for him to fall. That doesn't mean it's the Cleveland Browns.
The media environment around Shedeur Sanders has turned increasingly hostile, with anonymous leaks fueling a damaging narrative that could dictate his career path. The Guardian described the situation as laying bare the ruthless core of the NFL draft system, where smear campaigns and character assassination from unnamed sources have become standard tools to discredit players who don't fit traditional molds. The racial undertones of these attacks can't be overlooked, especially when you compare the language used for Sanders against that used for his white peers. Critics argue this reflects a plantation mindset biased against outspoken black athletes who assert their value and demand fair treatment. The reality that Sanders had the audacity to push for unprecedented contract terms and retain control of his media rights appears to have sparked an especially venomous backlash.
People had a problem with his daddy for a multitude of reasons. It affected his draft stock. And so you have folks out here that are not rooting for this brother, but he's accustomed to adversity. He's accustomed to
the post-draft noise hasn't quieted down either. The most glaring controversy came from Sanders' speeding incidents in June 2025, when he was ticketed for driving 91 miles per hour in a 65 zone and 101 miles per hour in a 60 zone. Those violations quickly drew public criticism from Cleveland Browns GM Andrew Berry, who labeled behavior not smart and dangerous. Initially, Sanders skipped his court appearance, but he later paid the fines and admitted to making poor choices during a Twitch stream. The issue was especially damaging because it fed into pre-existing narratives questioning Sanders' maturity and judgment. Detractors used the speeding tickets as proof he prioritized flash over discipline, reinforcing tired stereotypes about young stars who act above the rules. Yet, the double standards were obvious. Teammates like Myles Garrett have been caught for similar infractions without facing nearly the same backlash.
bring to the table matters. The level of cachet, your gifts, your skills, etc. do have an impact, but also relationships or lack thereof, perceptions, first impressions, all of these kind of things. Whether it was the workout, whether it was his dad talking about, if my son go to a certain place, I ain't gonna be down for that.
On social media, the negativity surrounding Sanders has only intensified. Every misstep is seized upon as validation for critics' preloaded opinions. At the extreme end, Antonio Brown's vulgar online attacks epitomize the toxic environment. His crude posts about Sanders show how personal insults have replaced meaningful football analysis or fair discussion about the young quarterback. But the pressure doesn't just come from trolls. Institutional skepticism looms large too. Analysts have branded him overly reliant on hero ball and flagged his susceptibility to sacks, pointing to the 94 sacks he endured across his last 2 college seasons. Supporters countered this by blaming Colorado's weak offensive line rather than Sanders' decision-making, but the narrative battle continues to rage.
There is none better, okay? And when you heard them talking about him, you heard folks calling teams, the Adam Schefter's, the Lewis Riddicks of the world, Ryan Clark's of the world, others, you as well. And you heard people saying, we ain't taking him. Before the draft even took place.
The Cleveland Browns now face more than just a quarterback battle. They're managing a full-scale public relations storm rarely seen with rookies. Shedeur Sanders' arrival has brought a wave of media attention, both glowing and critical, that risks overshadowing team priorities and sparking locker room distractions. His decision to troll GM Andrew Berry after a preseason outing, remarking, "You're not fully proud," kind of shows how Sanders courts controversy even in moments of success. The long-term consequences of this turbulence could prove more damaging than anything on the field. If Sanders fails to control the noise and keeps handing ammunition to detractors, it could destabilize the very business empire he's been building. Sponsors demand athletes who embody consistency and positive branding. Continued flare-ups risk jeopardizing the lucrative deals that have made him a financial standout.
Change the narrative by how you ball.
But that,
Like it's that simple.
which to his point.
The relentless scrutiny poses an even deeper threat: the psychological strain. Transitioning from college to the pros is already tough for most athletes. Sanders must handle that adjustment while juggling unprecedented business deals, intense family expectations, and relentless media glare, challenges that would test even seasoned veterans. Injury concerns only add to the pressure. His preseason oblique injury, while downplayed as minor, underscored how quickly fortunes shift for NFL players. Injuries could cut into his reps and growth, fueling critics eager to question his resilience and commitment. Inside Cleveland's quarterback room, the competition is fierce. Facing veterans like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, plus rookie Dylan Gabriel, Sanders has to earn his snaps while carrying outside baggage his teammates don't. On paper, his 106.8 preseason rating dwarfed Gabriel's 66.1 with an interception, but injuries and depth chart politics could still limit his rise.
And I'm rooting for the brother, and I hope that he does well tonight.
The ultimate question for Sanders is whether he can lock in on football while balancing external pressures that would overwhelm most pros. His response to critics, his growth from mistakes, and his loyalty to team goals will decide if he realizes his potential or fades into the cautionary tales of wasted talent derailed by forces beyond raw ability. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Sanders, but for proving whether young stars can challenge entrenched power structures while still showing humility and discipline needed for greatness. Every snap, every interview, and every appearance now acts as a referendum. Is Shedeur Sanders a symbol of athlete empowerment's future, or a disruptive precedent that risks chemistry and league order? The spotlight will only intensify as his stature grows. His ability to block out the noise, as Stephen A. Smith bluntly advised, may be the most critical skill he needs for long-term NFL survival. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click one of the boxes on your screen to dive into more stories just like this.